You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the sledging room.
Wake up and smell the coffee. Akshay, Ramesh is certainly doing that today. Saurabh, he's nice and early with a fresh cup of coffee. But what about the Sri Lankan batsmen? They're the ones who needed to really smell those coffee beans, especially after what happened in Mumbai on Thursday evening. To recap, India won by 302 runs, becoming the first team to storm into the semi-finals of the 2023 Cricket World Cup. This is the fourth successive time that India are in the World Cup semi-finals. 2011, of course, they were the champions. 15 and 19 reached the semis, lost to Australia in a one-sided game 8 years ago, and then a heartbreaking defeat to New Zealand in a thriller about 4 years back. Are they going to be champions again, India, at home? Who knows? They are looking good. They are really looking good. And a lot of people have been telling me that, look, the only team that can defeat India is India. You know, they are so good. They have been so clinical. Bowling, tick. Batting, obviously, tick marks all over. KL Rahul's wicket-keeping has been superb. He's played some crucial innings down the order. And what do you say about Mohammad Shami? I think the only criticism, guys, if it comes to Shami, is that he's failed to take hat-tricks.
Oh, yes.
He's been on a hat-trick twice already.
Twice, I think.
Very disappointing.
I think it was an ordinary display from Mohammad Shami. He took 3 balls to take his first wicket yesterday.
And when Bumrah struck with his first ball, Siraj struck with his
first
ball.
ball.
Yeah. So Mohammad Shami, if you're listening to us, don't get too complacent yet. You need to start getting wickets with your first ball.
But see that.
And a hat-trick.
14 wickets in just 3 matches. Now he is India's highest World Cup wicket taker with 45
crazy now.
in just 14 matches. If you look at it, yes, Javagal Srinath did 44 in 34 matches.
30, yeah. And
30.
Zahir Khan 10 lesser than
24,
Srinath.
23.
Yeah,
But Shami, 14. But if you look at his form outside the World Cup, yes, he has picked up 5 wicket hauls and all that. Did India not use him enough, or is it part of workload management?
He's played quite a few actually. Yeah. He's played 97 ODIs. He's picked up
185 wickets.
I think it's also been workload management. Yes. He has had some injury concerns here and now. Sometimes it could get a little frustrating away from the World Cups. I know what you're talking about, especially in the T20 format. He's not.
Yes.
I mean, but there is very little that you can, criticize.
But what makes him a World Cup special package?
Exactly. I mean, yes. I think what you are trying to say, Akshay, is that World Cup Shami versus non-World Cup Shami. Yeah. But don't trivialize that yet.
No, not
because
at all.
Even outside the World Cup, he's taken 150 wickets.
Yeah.
India's premier red ball bowler.
He's India's premier bowler across formats, and he's combined with Bumrah, Siraj over the last 3-4 years, and it's 3 years, I think. And this has been a terrific bowling attack. I think Shami's figures in the World Cup are such that you look outside of the tournament and you're like, but no, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But he's got 4 5-wicket hauls now, the most by any Indian bowler in the ODI format. And what he's overtaken Javagal Srinath, 4 5-wicket hauls, 3 of them in World Cups, 2 of them this year in this World Cup. 3 of those 5-wicket hauls have come this year. Go back to his last 5 matches. He's taken a 5-wicket haul against Australia, and then he took a 5-wicket haul against New Zealand, a 4-wicket haul against England, and then a 5-wicket haul against Sri Lanka. Saurabh, Sri Lanka caught napping. Remember, this is not the first time they were rolled out on 100. 73 earlier in the year when India scored, I think, 390. Asia Cup, bowled out for 50, and at the Wankhede, 55. What is it? Mental block? Too scared to face India?
Definitely, it looks like a mental block because this is the same Sri Lankan side which scored 350 runs against Pakistan. And they have been in good form if you look at when they are playing against other teams. But when they come up against India, there is a mental block because they don't lack talent, they don't lack the skill, and there is also a lack of application. When you can see that in the first 10 overs the ball is reversing and there is swing and there is seam, you could do what Indian batters did. Rohit got out in the first over, then Virat and Shubman Gill took it easily, and then they started getting those boundaries. So you could have done that, but no, there is a mental block, if you ask me. And this Sri Lankan team, I mean, nobody expected Sri Lanka to play this brand of cricket. We all knew what happened in Asia Cup final. We expected them to come up better, and their coach before the match, he was like, yeah, we are ready for the game. We know what happened in the Asia Cup final. But look at what happened in Mumbai. And it was a good batting wicket, the way India batted. Akshay, you have your sympathies with Sri Lanka cricket. What is your opinion on this?
I do think it's a mental block. Because we have, like we were discussing before start of the podcast, we've all seen India getting rolled out for 54. That was a strong Sri Lankan side. But at the same time, this was a little embarrassing for Sri Lankan cricket, right? In the World Cup, you were talking about it, West Indies are not there. The quality of cricket that we have seen in this World Cup has been good. But when teams like Sri Lanka don't step up, the gulf between the top 4 and the rest is very evident. And also, we have to give credit to the Indian bowling. I'm not saying that, okay, get bowled out for 55. They could have done better. But those balls, I don't think any batter would have survived that Jasprit Bumrah delivery to Pathum Nissanka, that Shami delivery to Angelo Matthews, Siraj to Kusal Mendes. I don't know. The Indian bowlers were too good. They just ran into a hot and piping Indian bowling attack.
I think it's also the fact that they have been such a cohesive unit for so long. Obviously, Stark, Cummins and Hazel would have also played Test cricket together. They've been playing ODIs together. But it's just the form that these guys have been in. Remember, they were the Australian bowling attack, for instance. They were also psychologically demoralized 3 years back. I know it's a long time back, but that had an effect over the next few years. I don't think they've been able to recover from that, because you look at the Australian team, you would think, okay, this is a quality team on paper, but somehow they've not been able to get their bearings right. While Bumrah, Shami and Siraj, they've been superb together in Test cricket and one days. Obviously, at the start of 2022, again, almost 2 years back, India lost a couple of Test matches overseas, South Africa. Then that Test match in Birmingham against England, that 5th rescheduled Test match. But they've bounced back from those setbacks. I think psychologically, it just shows that they're in a much better mental space. And the whole grooming under Rahul Dravid. Yes, there were questions asked. Obvious questions were asked because India haven't yet won an ICC event in 10 years. You came close in the World Test Championship in 2 successive editions, did not happen. You were very disappointing in the T20 World Cup in that semi-final defeat to England. So questions were obviously asked, and that is why the whole sledging room movement started. I just didn't want to say a podcast. This is not just a podcast. It was a movement. We were asking questions. We were asking the right questions, the hard-hitting questions. But also the fact that not just Sri Lanka, by the way, a lot of batsmen have been scared. They've been, especially under lights. You saw India have bowled only twice under lights in this World Cup. England were nervous. Obviously, poor form, poor returns in the World Cup. But you're just chasing 230. You were off to 30 for no loss. Couple of wickets, and we told you right then and there, it's a game, set and match for England. And
don't forget what India did to Pakistan in Ahmedabad. India did to Australia in Chennai.
Not just Ahmedabad, also in Colombo. Remember that high-scoring game which got, it was a rain-hit game.
200 plus run.
And they saw not just Bumrah and Siraj, they saw Hardik Pandya slicing Babar Azam into half and troubling him that much. And now you look at this lineup and you're thinking, what if when Hardik Pandya comes back, how do you deal with this? Siraj was the only bowler who wasn't perhaps at his best. We discussed that in our last episode as well, and he just saw Sri Lanka and he turned up.
Maybe it's time to drop Bumrah now.
Bumrah would have been like, oh wow, I've just managed that one wicket. Because remember, Bumrah bowled brilliantly. It was, he was unlucky not to get a couple more wickets.
Exactly.
Got a wicket with his first ball. Got Pathum Nissanka. He's been in terrific form. 4 half centuries, 146, and then a golden duck. It's just impossible to play Jasprit Bumrah. And then Siraj was getting those wickets from the other end. And then Shami replaced Siraj, I think.
First change.
From the other end.
Yes.
So, I mean, Bumrah might have... I don't know.
Who can you see off in this bowling attack? No one.
No one.
You play... if you want to play cautiously against Bumrah and Siraj, Shami is next. Then Jadeja comes in. Then Kuldeep comes in.
It's like that famous Ashes rhyme.
Absolutely.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If Lily doesn't get you, Thamo must. Years ago, they had... The Australian fans would chant this to English batsmen who would come at the crease, and that England team was
for the relentless bowling attack.
Australia's relentless bowling attack, and I think this is. I mean, imagine the West Indies in the 1980s, and now I'm not drawing comparisons, so don't jump the gun and say, "Oh my goodness, they're comparing this and this with the West Indies of the 1980s." No, I'm not drawing the comparisons. I'm just talking of the fear factor that certain bowling attacks established over the years, and I think this bowling attack. is doing the same. You had
And
the
let's not
Pakistan.
forget that. Let's not forget that Ishant, Shami,
Oh.
Bumrah.
Yeah.
that
They laid the
2018
foundation.
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They laid the
Yes.
foundation. So you've had that in separate eras.
Umesh
right?
also.
Umesh Yadav. Australia, they did that for years and years and years. South Africa did that for decades.
Yeah.
Pakistan had that for quite a long time as well.
Yeah.
Now you look at Pakistan's pace bowling attack, you're like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
But now you got to say India is the dominant force in pace ball, in pace in the cricket world.
Is this the decade of Indian fast bowling?
It has been the way they have been performing. Did you listen to what Wasim Akram said? I mean, the guy himself, the Pakistan legend, has come out and said that Jasprit Bumrah handles the new ball better than I used to. That is some praise coming from Wasim Akram.
Yeah.
So it's
For people of your generation who
Okay.
have watched Pakistan fast bowlers dictate terms, it should feel,
If you did not watch Wasim Akram and Waqar Yunus dictate terms, I don't know, maybe you made some different life choices.
Yeah.
Because if you claim to be a cricket fan, I don't
I'm
you
saying
need to
in the
revisit
early 90s.
what you did early on in your life.
in
But
the late 90s, in the early 90s.
there is always time to,
Yeah.
revisit
that was
and
the-
your choices and then grow up and be a better.
No, it feels satisfying to see the Pakistan
Yeah.
pacers, get a little jealous of the Indian bowling attack.
Talking
right?
of Pakistani cricketers,
Yeah. Right.
okay, couple of these shows, I really appreciate the kind of analysis that they've done.
yeah.
But talking of Pakistani shows and Pakistani views, I saw this clip on YouTube where Hassan Raza
Yeah.
said something
Yeah.
bizarre to be. I mean, I'm just trying to be polite on air.
Yeah.
What did he say? He said India's bowlers have done so well because they have been given different balls to
Yeah.
bowl
I
with.
mean,
Okay,
I
that
don't know how
that
to
was funny.
react to that.
No, what you tell me. I mean, he's. What?
So he's blaming ICC of fixing matches with BCCI to help Indian team win the games and win the World Cup
By doing what?
by giving the Indian bowlers different balls than their opposition. So he's saying obviously we all when we all watch these matches, we see that Indian bowlers are dictating the terms. But this guy is saying they are not dictating the terms because they're skills. They are dictating the terms because IC has helped them with a new ball, different ball.
Maybe the
I
Sri
don't know what he
Lankan
wants.
batters and the England batters felt the same. They have been so relentless. Watching from the outside, it feels like
I'm
this
sorry,
is one of the
and
best
you know
World
what?
Cup bowling performances, right?
But I'm sorry. I know this is supposed to be a serious show, but this is so funny. This comment was so funny. I couldn't. I mean, I'm still trying to control my fits of laughter. But I also want to, Saurabh Akshay, read out Akash Chopra's tweet. Akash Chopra said, "Just stumbled across a view." Where was this? I'm sorry. I think.
Here.
Let me just get that for you. Yeah. Here. Akash Chopra said, "Is it a serious cricket show?" He's talking of the clip from that Pakistani show. Is Akash Chopra talking about it? Is it a serious cricket show? If not, please mention satire comedy in English. I mean, yeah. If it was satire, they should have mentioned it. They shouldn't have pretended to be a serious cricket show. I mean, that was just insane.
Proper envy of the world, this bowling.
Yes, this shows exactly. That's well put. Proper envy of the world. Nobody has come close to matching India's class, either with the batting department or with the bowling department. South Africa, yes, they can. I think they would be India's closest competitors, and I think a fair final would be India versus South Africa.
We'll have to see. We all are waiting for that game on Virat Kohli's birthday. Waiting for Virat Kohli's 4900. Waiting for Indian bowlers versus South African batters.
Yeah.
That is going to be a game at Eden Gardens. We are going to wait for that.
You think, India probably going to rest a couple?
So that is what was asked from Rohit Sharma before the match against Sri Lanka and Mumbai. He said, I have heard from the players that none of them want to rest.
Yeah.
And the physios have also given the green signal for that. Their workload, they're managing the workload. At the start of the tournament, we all thought India playing in 9 different venues and the travel time, a couple of 5-day breaks, but the games have been coming thick and fast.
Yeah.
But the way they have managed injuries, managed the workload has been phenomenal as well.
I mean, look at the way they've managed Jasprit Bumrah. Also because of the support.
If you're
that he
just
has.
bowling 19 overs
Exactly.
with a ball that is, I don't
Exactly.
know, the questionable cricket
How
ball.
many 10 overs has he bowled?
Exactly.
How many
Yes.
10 over spells has he bowled? Same with Siraj. Shami, again, he's just played his third game of the World Cup. I think they've been managed brilliantly.
Yes.
It's been an outstanding World Cup. I mean, yes, we also spoke of the Gulf, but that is not India's fault. That is not the BCCI's fault. That is not even the ICC's fault. I think somewhere down the line, the ICC needs to introspect and see what they can do to figure out how these teams are performing.
Especially in ODI cricket.
Especially in one days. Especially in one days. I mean, Netherlands have been superbly impressive. Afghanistan, okay. Kudos to their cricket team, kudos to their cricketers, and also because of India's support. India have extended a lot of support to Afghanistan, and Afghanistan have really worked hard with that infrastructure in Greater Noida, Dehradun. Then so many of the cricketers play the IPL. They've clearly learned. They haven't been petty. They haven't gone around talking about nonsensical issues that don't even exist. They have performed, and I think that's great for world cricket. But what also should have been better for world cricket was the presence of the West Indies. You really see that you want two-time former champions. Zimbabwe, they were once such a dangerous team.
And Zimbabwe and West Indies won't even be in the Champions Trophy in 2025.
Imagine. I mean, forget West Indies and Zimbabwe.
England are about to miss the bus to Champions Trophy.
And if Afghanistan beat Netherlands on Friday, Afghanistan are assured a spot in the 2025 Champions Trophy.
Yeah.
They go to 8 points. And they won't slip below number 7.
But I also want to be assertive about something. I know we have asked questions in the past, and we all want India to win the World Cup. 10 years without an ICC event is a huge gap, right? But looking at the way the last 4 World Cups have gone, obviously 2007 is an aberration. I mean, that was a team in transition perhaps. Just things didn't work out. Anyway, we've forgotten that like a bad memory. But look at the last 4 World Cups. India have lost, after 2011, they just lost 3 matches since 2015. 2 of them just happened to be semi-finals. That was, the real difference. But I got to say that India have been the best one-day team over the last decade and a half.
Yes.
India did well in India. India did well in Australia. India did well in Australia and New Zealand. And India did well in England last time. Yeah. And now India have been unbeatable here.
The only other team that has been as consistent or second best is New Zealand.
Yeah.
They have been to the semi-finals in all these editions that you're talking about.
But also the number of victories, Akshay, where they're finishing up. India were unbeaten until the semis in 2015.
Yes.
Now I think they've matched their joint longest winning streak in World Cup, 7 again now. Even last year, they just lost that game to England and then the semi-final.
Close semi-final,
So we obviously want India to win the World Cup, but irrespective of what happens from here on, you have to give credit to this
That
team.
is the question that I wanted to ask you both. Irrespective of what happens from here on, maybe if that bad 45 minute comes, would you go and criticize this team or would you appreciate what they have done so far?
You can't, if suppose, touch wood, gosh, I just hope India win the World Cup. We're crossing our fingers and entangled in each other. But I'm just saying, let's not be negative.
No,
I get your point. But I think you can't just, even if they do have those, those bad 45
like
minutes, I
Virat
don't think
Kohli
you can
said,
forget everything that they've done.
Yeah.
It has been a phenomenal achievement, boss. You've seen other teams struggling across conditions, and India have had to travel the most. And please don't tell me, home advantage. A lot of the players have played the IPL, so home advantage for everybody. You can't forget. But, looking at the way this team has gone, smiling, laughing, the fielding drills, the way the fielding medals are handed out, Sachin Tendulkar speaking to the cricketers, I think they're just having such a good time.
Yeah.
I think they'll stand up for each other.
And let me put it this way. What different do you think India can do in those knockout matches? In a couple of knockout matches that...
You must have seen what happened in those last 10 years, IC tournaments. Indian team has been playing the best cricket in this tournament. Bowling, batting, fielding. You talk about that particular thing and you see that India are on top of it.
Yeah.
If they go to the semi-final, there's only one thing which I believe that they have to take care of, and that is the mental block of playing a knockout game. They have suffered because they have been, if you look at this team, the way they had, like he pointed out, they have been standing up for each other. They are enjoying this game. It's more about enjoying the process. Yeah. They are playing, they are enjoying, they are backing each other. Every bowler is brilliant. Every batter is performing. They have to do the same. Yeah. They have to treat it, Adam Gilchrist used to say that we used to play every game as a final.
Yes.
So now when they go and play that IC knockout game, they have to just maintain this momentum. It will be tough. Obviously, the pressure of crowd and all, and playing a knockout game in India after 12 years. But they will have to do this if they want to win the World Cup.
I have a feeling that Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid are the right men at this time. Not in a T20 format. T20, one bowler, one batter can change it. But in this 50 over format, I think Rohit Sharma has it in him to guide the team through those tough phases as well. He has been, like he said, he has been focusing a lot on processes. But India have really, stuck to the processes. They have not, literally no one has been able to get through that, that great wall of India that has been so evident. They have been doing the basics right. Their batters are ticking, their bowlers are ticking. The captaincy has been brilliant. The captaincy has been outstanding from Rohit Sharma. So I think that 45 minutes won't happen this time.
I think, look, whatever, I mean, we don't know what's
We can't
what's in
predict
store.
future.
We don't.
Now,
we don't
why are we
even
looking
know.
so gloom?
We
glum
don't
now,
even
right?
know.
Yeah,
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Because
No,
you
that-
suggested
that-
something. I mean, I'm just thinking. I hope it doesn't happen. It
No, it
automatically
won't,
happens,
that-
right? I
yeah.
mean, it's human nature.
Exactly.
The moment you start talking of something negative, and you're like, oh no. But obviously, that, and when we were so perked up because you're talking about how India are now, on the cusp of winning the World Cup, they're already in the semi-finals. We don't even know who the other three semi-finals are going to be. It's most likely we are saying South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia.
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, South Africa still one win away from securing that position. We hope it doesn't come against India.
Yes.
We want India to finish in the top. It'll be a phenomenal achievement. There are stories now. Now these are all stories. This is the Shami story again. This is the story of the Bumrah recovery. This is the story of KL Rahul's comeback. This is the story of Virat Kohli
Stepping up like anything.
again.
In the last 2-3 years, if you see his numbers, we were all questioning him. But look at the way
look
he has
at
stepped up in
exactly,
the World Cup.
Exactly.
And the story of Rohit Sharma, the batter, the Rohit
leading
Sharma, the
from
captain.
front, and his captaincy has been astute, brilliant captaincy. So, and Rahul Dravid, again, he's quietly gone into the background.
Yeah.
He is marshalling his resources. Obviously, things they're A+ for the Indian team. I think it just comes down to mentality, Akshay, and sort of from what you said. It just comes down to your temperament on that day. And I don't think this team will be haunted by the memories of the past. Well, one good thing is that, there are a few fresh players from between 2019 and obviously you have the core team, KL, Rohit, Virat, Hardik, Bumrah. But I think Jadeja, and then you have some fresh legs and fresh faces as well.
And also, the acknowledgement of this problem, Rohit Sharma has been saying from the last year or before that I want this team to prepare for 10 for 4, 10 for 3. And they have done that quite a few times.
Imagine that collapse against Australia. Yes, you weren't chasing too many thanks to your bowlers, but that was a sturdy recovery. Even in
that Asia Cup game against Pakistan.
Exactly.
Kishan and Hardik Pandya.
That Sri Lanka, I think. Oh, yeah, the first game, which was washed out.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, even against Sri Lanka, there was a collapse.
Yeah.
Even against New Zealand, there was a bit of a stutter. And against England, then those couple of early wickets, 3 early wickets actually, Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul. So
maybe Rohit is giving away his wickets in these matches.
2011, 2011, by the way, you had I was just thinking, and I'm again, very special. Like I said, the 2011 World Cup team for me is the most special cricket side because that was my generation watching India lift the World Cup for the first time. So, and that had Tendulkar and Dhoni in it. So obviously, I'm going to be always biased. But having said that, coming from there, that Wankhede partnership between Shubman and Virat, 189, right, for the second wicket. Then those two went in back-to-back overs, falling to Madhushanka. Remember what happened in 2011 against South Africa? India were going great guns. Suddenly Sachin gets out.
Yeah.
And there was a collapse and South Africa win that. Same against England, I think. He scored another 100 and then you couldn't really capitalize and get to a 360, 370 kind of total. I'm not saying that used to happen very often in those days, but the recovery and the boxes that have been ticked, even in 2019, Akshay, you struggled for a regular number 4. Now you know. Yes, Shreyas Iyer wasn't in great form. Before Wankhede, that was a different thing. But you knew Shubman, Rohit, Virat, Shreyas, Hardik, and then you have Jadeja. Now Hardik injured, you had to bring in 2 other guys. And what a find. What a find Mohammad Shami has been. Huh?
Fine, you have to
say
that.
It's like they almost forgot about him. But such is the talent in this team that even our Ashwin is sitting on the benches.
Ishan Kishan, we are keeping him on the benches. So, But what do you think about that number 49, Raj? Like Nasir Hussain made a very important point that there should be, the hype is, the coverage has been like 49, 49, 49, 49, 49. The hype has been around that now.
But it's the hype.
Is
This
it gonna-
hype has been created by the media, not by the team.
Maybe take away, but he said,
Yeah.
maybe
Don't make it
Virat,
about it.
don't make it about it. Virat needs to shut out that noise. And he gave a nice example of Sachin Tendulkar feeling that pressure only between 99 and 100. He kind of realized who he was between 99 and 100 when he got calls from his room service people that when will you score your 100 and all that.
I think it's unfair to the player and
Yeah.
to the team. It's not like Virat is going 49,
Yes.
49, 49. It's not like the team is like, you know what, let's forget about the World Cup, we'll focus on your 49. It's some former cricketers, it's some media experts, it's some, people from our own fraternity.
But don't you think that tentative prod yesterday, maybe 85?
Could be. But it also played on Sachin Tendulkar's mind, apparently, right? So, not that he was only going out to get his 100th international 100. When a player goes out there, he wants to win games for their country. And you know how it is like in the dressing room. You've heard of so many accounts.
Definitely.
You want to do well. Even if you're out for 99 and the team wins, you are superbly happy. You wouldn't want to be someone who's, selfishly getting to 100 and the team loses and everybody's looking at you. Nobody wants to be that person. Nobody wants to be that person. So, I'm sure Virat Kohli and the team, they're focused on winning. But yes, that outside noise, that sort of outside noise can have an impact. If everybody's talking about it, you see everybody talking about number 49, and then there's this whole hoopla around it. I hope it doesn't.
Why should it
affect
come in this
anyone.
World Cup? It can come later. He's going to get 50, 60.
Yeah.
Definitely, Virat is going to get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but why do you take that stress, attention now?
No, but this question was asked to Shreyas Iyer. That you
Yes.
missed out on 100.
Yeah.
Virat missed out on 100. Gill missed out on 100.
Who cares if the team is winning?
Yeah, that is what he said.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We are not here for personal milestones. We are here to win the World Cup.
Yes.
So let's not get into
The team
that.
is quite clear about
I think Indian fans, which is okay because we have grown up, from my generation. I'll tell you this honestly. Growing up, if I saw Sachin being dismissed in the 90s, it would just make it miserable. It would be a miserable day to recover from. I remember this phase when Sachin was struggling to get his first ODI 100. He was run out for 80 odd in Colombo or something, I don't know. Or he got out for 80 odd in Dunedin in New Zealand that first time he opened. I was very young and I remember Sachin got out after looking so good. It happens, right? You do more. I think more than the players, the fans get affected, and because of the hype around the fans and the media, the pressure does reach the players as well. So I hope they can flatten it out and just look at World Cup number 3 instead of 100 number 49. Great.
Yes.
100 number 49 comes on his birthday. 100 number 50 comes. We would hope.
Yeah.
to see
51 by the time India lift the trophy. Well and good.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right. We will celebrate that as well. But I think the primary focus from the Indian team is the World Cup, and that is the way it should be. I think it's just that hype, and I think this team will because they keep talking about not listening to a lot of the outside noise.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the right time to do that.
This is the right time to do that.
Yeah. But what do you think of the top 4? Has your opinions changed? As in, we still have, like we discussed in that India Today Rotten copy, that there is still chance for even England to somehow sneak through to the top 4.
The Netherlands, Afghanistan, everybody. I mean, obviously apart from Bangladesh, everybody has a chance. But I think they're going to hold this top 4: India, South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia, or Australia, New Zealand. Frankly, because again, I'm seeing this from a cricketing perspective. Pakistan do not deserve to be in the top 4.
Yes.
We can't always come and say, you know what, let's see what this team does. Let's see what that team does.
Yeah.
You have been horrible.
Yeah.
You have failed as a cricket team, and I think some of the comments that have come from some of the former cricketers, some of their own PCB chief, some of their own players, it's just been in very poor taste.
But one thing I want to say that if New
They
Zealand
haven't
miss
endeared
out,
themselves. The Pakistan cricket team had the opportunity to endear themselves to a few fans here and there. I think they failed to do that.
But if
Complete
New
lack of
Zealand somehow
statesmanship.
miss out on the top 4 spot, it will be absolutely because of their own decisions, their questionable decisions that they took against South Africa.
Why would you?
I don't know. New Zealand are one of the tactically astute teams going around. They don't have the superstars, but they rely on this, inputs and all that. But why would you bowl first against the South African team that is just decimating opposition? Now you are in a position where on Saturday you have to beat Pakistan to be assured of that place.
Yes.
You've put yourselves there. No, your net run rate took a huge hammering that day. Had you even batted first and posted 260, I'm sure South Africa wouldn't have got there in 30 overs. They would have taken 45 overs, 46 overs. Your net run rate would have been absolutely good enough to keep Pakistan away. But now you have given Pakistan that whiff of an opportunity. And Afghanistan have a real opportunity now. They can get to 12 points.
Yes.
And if New Zealand slip against Pakistan, Afghanistan will be licking their lips to, get through the top 4. I think these are kind of decisions, even the Sri Lanka decision, you win the toss and bowl first against India in Wankhede after seeing what South Africa did in Wankhede in the last 2 matches.
I think, now you will see some sort of desperation, some sort of tactical blunders.
Yeah.
You will also see some really great matches from now on because
Yes.
apart from India, like I said, the others are still trying to figure out. South Africa 1 win away. I think it was just one tactical blunder from New Zealand. The Netherlands defeat showed that teams would want to to set targets to South Africa. Even that game against Pakistan, they barely scraped against such an ordinary Pakistan team. They just huffed and puffed away. And I think it's now becoming more and more clear that South Africa, again, they have not quite recovered from the choker's tag when it comes to chasing in big games. Also, Saurabh, before we close this and before we go to you and Akshay, this top 4, since you asked, I think it should be settled because this is the most well-deserving top 4. New Zealand, some questions, definitely. Pakistan, a lot of reports said back to winning ways. What back to winning ways? You lost 4 matches on the trust. You won against Bangladesh, who will be the first team to step up and say we have been horrid.
Yeah.
And using back to, fuckers, they were so greatly elated with fuckers Zaman's knock. It was a good knock, no doubt, but now there's some
I do
aggression.
think that every other opener in every other team does what Fakhar does.
That's
what Fakhar does better than what he
So
does.
Pakistan were shouting at things like they have the best bowling lineup. Their bowlers didn't turn up. Shaheen Afridi might have picked wickets, but those wickets have come when the batters have gone and attacked him, scored 350 runs. Then you talk about their batting. Their captain has been horrible. Babar Azam, he does not know how to lead on the field with the bat or without the bat. Mohammad Rizwan, as a wicketkeeper, he does not know what to do when a DRS decision comes. He's like, ask the batsman. Come on, you are a national team player. What is wrong? Haris Rauf, pace is pacer. What pace? He bowls a delivery at 150 km per hour and it goes back to the stands.
Yeah.
This is what Pakistan team is. So that is what Pakistan fans are doing. They want to rejoice whatever they can. And this notion of Pakistan are comebacking, this is all nonsense. If New Zealand are going to miss out, I want Afghanistan to be there.
That is exactly what I'm saying. Afghanistan have a better chance.
Yeah.
They do actually. They do because you can't rule out Afghanistan probably beating Australia or
Definitely.
upsetting.
Jonathan Trott will be itching to
Yeah,
plot
yeah,
Australia's
100%.
downfall.
Yes.
Englishman, England side haven't done well. Jonathan Trott will be licking his lips. Okay, an England victory over Australia will be great.
Absolutely.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. And Pakistan are playing over the weekend. That will sort of give you it will give you a clearer
picture.
template. Yeah. And South Africa are playing India on Sunday at the Eden Gardens. India win that game, then they're almost assured of number 1. They'll be playing at the Eden Gardens in that sense, the semi-final, right?
Mumbai. Only if they are playing Pakistan, they won't.
They will go to Kolkata, right?
Yes. But 1 and 4, I'm not sure.
1 and 4, I think they're playing at Eden Gardens.
Something is there.
1 and 4 are playing at Eden Gardens.
Let's check
2
that
and 3
and clarify.
at the Wankhede Stadium. Any which way, India are playing the semi-finals. We don't know who the 3 other semi-finalists are yet.
Yeah.
But when we come back to you on Wednesday next week, we'll obviously have a completely clear picture, or maybe half a clear picture from where we are at that point in time. But thank you so much. It's been a riveting Cricket World Cup. India, as Indians, we are superbly excited to see the team tick all the boxes. Like we said, Shami needs to take a hat trick now. That's the only thing that we'd want from the Indian team. But no, on a serious note, we just want them to lift the World Cup because no other team deserves this as much as Team India, given the phenomenal run in the World Cup. And not just in the World Cup, guys. Also remember, in ODIs over the last year or so. They lost to Australia in India early in the year, but they have been phenomenal besides that. Superbly confident and powerful and strong. Do rate us again wherever you're listening to the podcast on Sledging Room, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and of course you're watching us on YouTube. Please leave your comments and let us know what your thoughts are on the other 3 semi-finalists. Who will join India in that battle for the last 4 of the last 4. Thank you. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon on Wednesday.
You are on India Today podcasts, and you are in the Sledging Room.